Okay, so now we're going to get into 5.4, which you guessed it, is multiplying and dividing. So again, we're going to look at how we can do it by hand and then some potential shortcuts, which will hopefully allow you to not use a calculator when you have problems of those types. So, so in general, though, the process for multiplying is the same. But when multiplying by hand, the total number of decimal places in the numbers multiplied is the number of decimal places in the answer. All right, that's a weird one. Well, let's take a look at the first one. Nice, easy one. 0.4 times 0.2. What's the answer? Now, if you said 0.8, you are wrong. That is not the answer. Because how many decimal places is in our problem? We got one decimal place here, and we got one decimal place here. So we need two decimal places in the answer. So it's not going to be equal to 0.8, but instead 0.08, because now we have two decimal places in our answer. So there's the catch. You got to be a little careful with how many decimal places you're going to want. So let's try one that's got a little more substance to it. So negative 4.23 and 2.7. So if we do it off to the side, I like to put the number with more digits on top. So if we're multiplying, so now we got 3 times 7, which is 21, carry a 2. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 2 is 16, carry a 1. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 is 29. Okay, now when we multiply the 2 in, we're going to need to shift it over. So a way to not forget to shift it is to put a 0 right off the bat underneath the 1. So now we can go through and multiply. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. So we multiplied the 7 through, we multiplied the 2 through, now we can add. So this gives us a 1, 2, carry a 1, 10 and 4 is 14, carry a 1, 11. Now, where does the decimal point go? So we got 2 here and 1 there. So there's a total of 3 decimal places we need. So working from right to left, we got 1, 2, 3. So the decimal point should go right in between the 1 and the 4. Final question, is it positive or negative? Yeah, because one of them was negative, so the answer should be a negative. So this should be a negative 11.421. All right. Now, in those cases, yeah, calculator is probably the safer way to go. Let's do one more though, like that, and then we're going to see some shortcuts. So this one's got a lot of zeros in front, a lot of zeros in front. So really, a way to shortcut this one is just to look at the 6 and the 52. So if we multiplied 52 times 6, 2 carry a 1, 30 plus 1 is 31. So the heart of our answer has a 312 in it. But again, the decimal places, how many decimal places do we need? Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got a total of 7 decimal places. Well, the 312 takes up 3 of those. So we still need 4 more places to take care of. And we're going to need zeros to do that. So our answer should be 0.1234. And then we can put the 312. Done. So that should be it. And again, anytime you're not 100% sure, just double check with your calculator. So what about some other cases that we can do without a calculator? Something like this is a nice one. Anytime you're multiplying by a power of 10, so 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, you can always use a shortcut and not use your calculator. So for something like this, the trick is you want to change the number, the 100 or the 10 or whatever, into a 1. And here's how you do it. So technically the decimal point is right here. So if we move the decimal point to the left 2 places, that changes it into a 1. But to counteract that move, we got to move the decimal point on the other number. and we're going to move it the opposite way. So in this case, we're going to move this decimal point to the right 2 places, and now we're done. Our answer is 6715.4. Done. Whoops. Helps if you don't yank out your microphone. So 6715.4 should be the answer. So we can do the same sort of trick with this one. So we got a decimal point here. We're going to have to move it 4 places to change it into a 1. But we're going to have to move this decimal point 4 places to the right to change it, to counteract that change. So our final answer should be 98. There's 2 places, so we need 2 more spots. So 9,800. So 9,800 should be the answer for that one. And the beauty of it is that it works the other way as well. So for something like this, we want to move the decimal point to the right to change it into a 1. And we're moving it 1 spot. So we're going to counteract that by moving it to the left 1 spot. So 43.82. And then let's do it one more time. So we got 3.56 and we got this one. So we got 3 places to move it to get it in front of the 1. So this one's going to have to move 3 places the other direction. So 0. What? So we're going to need 1 place. We're going to need 2 more spots to take care of before we place the decimal. So 0.00356. And again, if you don't believe me, let's do it on the calculator. So 3.56 times 0.001 equals, ta-da. So again, we got those 2 zeros in front of the or after the decimal, and then the 356. So we're good. All right, let's do one more, and that'll wrap up this video. First, use front-end rounding to round each number and estimate the answer. Then find the exact answer. Round money answers to the nearest cent when necessary. Okay, so front-end rounding. Ooh, what was that again? Okay, so remember, front-end rounding means we want to round all the way to the left. So 50.5, let's read the problem first. We should always read the problem. Latasha worked 50.5 hours over the last 2 weeks. She earns $18.73 per hour. How much money did she make? Okay, so 50.5 would round to what? So if we're rounding to the 5, so the 0 says we leave it alone. So this is going to become 50. All right. What about $18.73? What's that look like using front end rounding? So now we're going to round to the 1. So that's going to round to a 20. And now what do we do with those numbers? Work that many hours, and that's the rate per hour. So we want to multiply. So the estimate looks like it would be $1,000. That's our front end rounding estimate. What's the actual? Well, okay, we got a lot of big numbers to round here. So let's put the more digits on top. And we'll put the lesser digits on the bottom. Okay, let's see what we can do. 3 times 5 is 15, carry 1. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 1 is 36, carry a 3. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 3 is 43, carry the 4. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Okay, so now we're going to the next one. So we need a 0, but because it's 0, we're going to get a bunch of zeros. So 0, 0, 0, 0. All right. So now we're going to shift it over 2 spots, so we need 2 zeros in the next line. And it's another 5. So we're going to actually just use those same 4 numbers up here. So we can say a 5, a 6, a 3, and a 9. So let's add all that up. What do we get? So we had a 5, 6, and 8. We had a 15, carry a 1, so we got a 4, and then another 9. All right, so now where does that decimal point go? So how many decimal places do we got? We got 1, 2, 3. So starting from the right side, 1, 2, 3. So the decimal point goes right there, but the last thing we got to worry about is that this is money. So what should be our final answer? So we should get $945.87. So that should be our answer. So be careful with these two-part problems. They want front-end rounding first, and then they want the actual second. So be careful on the homework. All right, so that wraps up this video. One more section, and that wraps up Chapter 5. See you in a minute.